All right, welcome everybody to another episode. Today we have Kyle Carnohan, the founder of Superhuman Fathers and the Power Couple Path. Him and wife Whitney are both currently focused on helping couples who look successful on the outside to feel closer and more connected at home. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. It's been a little while.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Superhuman Fathers. When I joined, it was, focused on several things like health and leadership and men's work, but it seems like there was a big pivot recently.
Yeah, man. Jesus. Yeah, he throttled me, and I had a about a year long wrestle trying to not and and go my way, and I just he won.
Yeah.
So look, man, you start trying to figure out where it is. What we're looking for something. We're always looking for something. What is it? And for me, I saw all these like disciplined masculine types, and I wanted to be respected, and so I
Mm,
ended up joining the fire service, uh
yes.
and I was looking for guidance, like I don't know, like strength, like what I'm looking for something. What is it?
Yeah.
And I thought I found it there, and as I was there a couple years in, I found discipline, and that's where that served me very well, really well. I found uh like this that stoic,
Hmm.
powerful man attitude where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to care how I feel anymore. I'm just going to do what the fuck I need to do. Uh, I'm going to carry it. Just put it on my
Yeah.
back. I got it all, and I've got 5 kids and a wife now of 23 years. And,
Hmm.
um, and as you know, Superhuman Fathers grew really fast, and it
Yeah.
turned into a multi-million-dollar company really, really fast. And we had almost 1,000 guys in the group at one time, and I'm carrying all this heaviness, and
Mm,
not only that, but I'm carrying the 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 glory
yeah.
of changing lives too, right? So this just starts to get very fucking heavy for me, and I started to start to ask questions deeper about, like, okay, we got discipline, and we'd get guys ripped, right? And then
Yeah.
they would get ripped, and then their lives would improve, and it was beautiful. But deeper things started coming up, like
Yeah.
um, things people were trapped in, addictions,
Yeah.
porn, um, a lot of turmoil at home, um, that was opening up to where I was like, oh, we've got bigger problems here. Like, we have way bigger problems in men's worlds than I even thought.
Mm,
And so we started going deeper as I started climbing the ladder of what is the thing and where do you find it? So it
yeah.
started with body, and then we were like, well, maybe make money. Let's make money. So we got jacked. We got a rack of abs, put a couple million in the bank, and I find myself still seeking.
Mm,
Where's the end? I'm doing a 250,000 a month, going like, well, maybe it's at 1 million a month. Is that
mm,
it? Is that where I finally find peace and freedom? Like, or what are we doing here?
mm,
And then I thought, well, maybe it's my wife, maybe it's my relationship, because at the time I probably wouldn't have said this because I didn't even know, but
yeah.
business was my first priority. Even though I
Mm,
would have said it was my family, it wasn't. It was business. It was money, because money gave me validation, power, control, and that gave me this false sense of security. And then it was my kids, then it was my wife,
mm,
and there was no God involved in any of it. There was no relationship with the creator, with spirituality. It was just all, we build ourselves strong enough so you can't fucking hurt us anymore. Because
mm,
if I hurt myself more than you, then you can't touch me. And if I build the body and I have the money, then I'll be invincible, and then I won't be alone. And I felt more alone
mm,
at the top. So I start seeking, and man, you got to be real careful when you start cracking open the Gospels and really studying the upside down nature of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because
yes.
everything's flipped on its head.
Mm,
And I started to realize, like, wow, I've been striving for the wrong thing as the priority,
Yeah.
right? So we changed it and we put God at the top, and I put my wife underneath that, and my kids underneath that, and my business underneath that, and my discipline and my body at the bottom as the foundation
Mm,
discipline. But that changed my whole world, my whole
yeah.
presentation, my whole identity, my whole everything. And I would be on sales calls with guys for Superhuman Fathers, and all I
Yeah.
wanted them to find was peace in Jesus. And you can't sell that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it, it's yours.
Oh, shit.
And I just gave it to him. And we went broke,
Yeah.
such as the upside down kingdom of heaven, you know. But it was my it was I couldn't I couldn't continue to act out of alignment once I saw it,
Mm, mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. So when that shift happened initially, right, when you said, okay, wait, hold on, something needs to shift here. I'm not fulfilled. I've got the money, the this, the that, the third. It would seem like it was something that would have been difficult for most everybody to do, to say, hey, we're gonna flip this thing on its head. We're gonna put God first. But for you, what was that transition like? Was it a quick like flip of the switch, or was it a period of
No,
where you had to readjust, or how did you
it
do
was
it?
a devastating death of my identity.
Yeah.
I spent many nights in my office upstairs in my house screaming at God, saying, I'm doing what you're asking me to do. Why are you hurting me? Why are you destroying me? Your promises aren't fulfilled.
Mm,
You're a liar.
mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yeah.
get it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand yet.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what was coming,
Mm-hmm.
what the gift was.
Yeah, what did you get from that? What was the gift? What then shifted till you said, "Hey, you know what? Let's commit." Because that's, I think, a big piece to a lot of men that might have been on the calls. They wanted a result, but maybe there was a lack of commitment to a greater purpose. So what did you get from it?
Well, that was probably one of the hardest years of my life because I was watching all the moves I was making me less money, but they were in
Yeah,
alignment with what I felt like I needed to do. And
that's
I
true.
thought that if you followed God, that He would bless you financially, which I realized no, the closer you get to Christ, the closer you get to the cross,
Mm,
you know.
yes.
And not to make people think that because you follow Jesus, you're not going to make money. It's
Yeah.
just from a different foundation. And so my foundation was built upon just it being the priority above everything else, which what does what? It makes it my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you have a false God as your priority, it doesn't mean making money is bad and you shouldn't do that. You should, but it was built with this tension and this anxiety and this not being enough and trying to
Mm,
maybe prove myself if I would like someday maybe I'll like reach this point where I like
yeah.
made it, you know? But I found that so strangely enough, like production beyond my wildest dreams didn't even scratch that itch. It got worse, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people that uh, have a different outlook, but I think there's a lot of hard charging business owners that have this same outlook and realize that they're constantly in tension and anxiety. So the
Yes.
more money I made
Right.
and the more we expanded our lifestyle and the more we grew our team, the more distant I became from my family because even in my own head, I had just pressure and things happening all the time, and I was not capable of
Mm,
being present. And so slowly over time, I started to pull away. I was harder to reach for my kids and my wife.
yeah. 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 It's interesting because for a lot of folks who are new to entrepreneurship or even to Jesus and a relationship with God, when they hear this, they might be a bit turned off. Like, dang, I don't know, right? I don't know if I want to become an entrepreneur. I don't know if I want to go deep and really commit to Jesus or that lifestyle. But I'm sure through all of this, there's been yeah, challenges, pain, but also maybe there's a deeper sense of what alignment, fulfillment, or what are you ultimately reaping in this season of your life?
Peace,
Uh,
peace, peace, like this peace that I've never felt before. A letting go of everything. So, uh, a nothingness, uh, a finding of the gift of grace
Mm-hmm.
sufficient so that
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to try anymore. I don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have my God and my wife. Together, we raise my children. The rest is a game that
Yes.
means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
good to have fun. It's godly to
Yeah.
have fun. So you get to, but you see, when you're manipulated by the market, meaning, especially in the coaching world, you'll
Yeah.
put out a version of you that aligns with what the world will give you. Right.
Mm.
So if I, and I've always had a hard time being out of alignment. So like I can't help but speak
Yeah.
truth, right? And sometimes there's consequences to speaking truth
Yeah.
and being authentic, because you might reach a smaller audience. It's just harder. It's harder
Yeah.
to build something authentic and being in alignment than it is to move and adjust based upon the market needs. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and marketing is not, I'm not saying don't market your company or your business. Like, that's marketing. I
Yeah.
just don't want to do it like that. It's out of
Yeah.
alignment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be me completely. My weird,
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird, bro. Like, this is what I've learned over the last couple years is like I sit well with people that like dude, I just joined a deliverance ministry school. Like, I love the depth of spirituality, and you were there the day that this switched in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about that if you can summarize it, because I know it was a whole thing, and there was build up. It was a multi-day event. Um, but what was that for you that switched?
Well, look, man, like Daryl was a good friend of mine. Like, he'd lost 116 pounds. He was superhuman fathers, man. He was like
Yeah.
the poster child. He was like 52 years old. He was fat and sad, and then he got ripped and like became this.
Relationship too. I remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then he came to our event, and like, you guys know, like, I fuck you guys up that first
Oh
day.
yeah.
And Daryl's coming, and I'm like, well, this is going to be kind of awkward because Daryl is like my friend, and it's going to be weird. But hey, if you're going to step into the heat, like, we're going to drop the hammer on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Daryl came out with that secret that he'd been holding for 40 some years.
Yeah.
And he ended up having this vision while we're at the event of being trapped in a cage with a demon surrounding the cage. And you remember he was acting weird after he told
Yeah.
us all that stuff. And he was kind of angry. And
Very
that's,
angry. He was, yeah, he was, yeah.
that
Something
second.
was there that was angry. I know it wasn't him for a second, maybe if you can expand on that, but
Yeah, well, that second day, if you remember, the second day is different. We pour
yeah,
the sandbags out that we've been carrying
yeah,
all day as our burdens. And Daryl comes up and like attacks me, like pushes me, and he has this gritty voice, and he's like, there's probably what, 12 of us there,
yeah,
and he goes, "You think you can help them? I own them, huh?"
yeah.
And I'm still in my, I'm still in discovery mode at this point. Like, I look at Jay. I called him
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Jay because he always annoyed me with all his Jesus talk. And I go, is this? He goes, yeah, this is happening right now. And I was like, this can't be happening. This isn't real.
Yeah.
And then he keeps snarling at me. And I'm like, I've known Daryl for 2 years. This is not Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
I pull him over to the side. We're on the beach. And he kind of collapses to the ground. And then I pull his sunglasses up, and his eyes are all fucked up and like twitching and shit. And he goes, like, he said, "Do you know who I am? You have no idea who I am." And I remember just looking at him going like, and I don't, the response was weird. I said, "I know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome here. You have no power here. Every man here has declared truth." It was like I knew what to say in the moment. And then I had this overwhelming love for Daryl, for the pain he was in, for
Yeah.
even that, whatever was in him, this overwhelming love. And I gave that whatever that was love. And that's when you came over and you brought the guys over and you started like quoting Psalms or something. And I was like, thank
Yeah.
goodness Luis is here because I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
And then you said, Daryl, you got to go out in the ocean and wash that stuff off. And then everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it just all made sense at the moment, like
Hell
totally.
no, dude.
So he runs out there. You guys all run out there with him, and then I get
Yeah.
this inclination, baptize him, and I'm like, "This is cult, weird cult shit. I'm not doing that. This is weird." And I baptize him. You need to baptize him. I'm not even a Christian at this point. How can I
Mm.
baptize somebody if I don't even? I hadn't even been baptized. So I
Right,
go,
right.
okay, whatever. I've heard that voice before. I called it the voice. I I believed it was my intuition, the universe, God. I didn't know, but
Hmm.
that voice was so powerful. I ran out there, and I did some
Yeah.
tried to remember what you're supposed to say, and I remember I held him underwater for like 10 seconds, shaking him, and he came out screaming, and and then I came in and just collapsed on the beach, like drained and like emotional, and I was like, what just happened? Find out, we come to find out, Daryl and his wife had been super disconnected. They hadn't been intimate in a year and a half.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
he had some secrets that he was holding,
Hmm.
and he was scared to tell her, and he told her, and they reignited their marriage, and like the fruits of that were so insane that it
Hmm.
opened up my mind to realize that there's so much more depth than
Yeah.
discipline or getting jacked, or he did it.
That's wild.
He did the thing.
Yeah.
And it unveiled these deeper things in him, and I was so attracted to that depth that I was like, I will give away everything that I own or have to find more of that. And
Hmm.
that's when I delved into the Bible and started really studying deeper spiritual things, and which led to a moment where I was so tense and so angry with God and trying to figure this out. And I was upstairs praying and more like yelling. And I
Yeah.
had this epiphany. Like it was like this release, this surrender. And I just heard this voice in my head that said, all are welcome here. All are welcome here. I was like, what does that mean? Is this a church?
Hmm.
Like, I can't give away. I got bills to pay. Like I have
Right.
teams. Like, so I ended up cutting our entire team, building a team of mentors. And we started doing the dollar program where guys could join for $1. And
Mm, yeah.
then we asked them for $99 a month as dues to come in if they could. And if they couldn't, then that was okay too. So we just turned
Just
them down.
built on that.
Now
Yeah.
the focus is God and wife, because we realize like if you're close to God and you have a deep relationship with your wife, you're going to be an excellent father. But a lot of guys and women actually put their kids above their husband or wife, which causes massive strife in the relationships. And we realized that we had done that for a long time.
Mhm.
Like our priorities were screwed up. And so now my focus really is on the relationship with God and how that affects the marriage. And I found that the thing that men struggle with the most is those two relationships. And those are the most bang for your buck that you get is when you focus on God and wife. And so now my entire world is focused on God and wife. I'm starting a brand new podcast called My God, My Wife,
Mm,
and I'm fully unleashed with my fearless weirdness.
yeah.
My wife is like, "Hey, can you tone down the weird John the Baptist shit, please?" I'm like, "I think it's gonna get worse."
I hear you, man. Well, what's interesting with with your, if we can call it that, right? Your brand or really your personality is what people might not know is you love skateboarding, you love hanging out with your kids, you love being goofy and just I was looking at some of the content you had put up, like I think your daughter had picked up like a thing of poop, and then one situation with your son got his hand stuck in like a billiards thing. So I also want the audience to know that well, what do you want the audience to know, right? What like you're in this new pivot, but what is it that you think ultimately makes Kyle Kyle at this stage with all the layers of Jesus and Christianity on top of all of that?
Yeah, like the peace of the man creates the peace in the home.
Mm.
So, like your tension that you create out of nowhere, that you create from outside influences, affects your identity and then your energy. And your energy spreads to your wife and your children. So when I'm stressed or have anxiety or I can't be present or I'm flustered, the
Yeah.
whole family's flustered and they can't be present, they can't be at peace. So the I realized the one thing that I can find that is more valuable than anything is peace every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find that so that I can be that steady rock of peace and calm for my wife and my kids, regardless of where they're at. They can freak the fuck out. My wife can lose her mind, and it's fine. It has no effect on me. This has been my quest. And I have a guy that I invited over. He's here actually today. He's here for 2 days. He struggles very much in a new relationship. His wife's pregnant, so he's a young guy with a baby on the way, and
Mm.
they are violently incapable of getting along. He has no relationship with God, and he is in fully controlled by his ego without knowing it, right? So he's in a defensive stance all the time, and
Yeah.
then also extremely stressed out and living in fear. So his God is fear
Mm.
and money. Those are his two gods, fear and money. And when your gods are fear and money, your wife's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cannot lead a family like that. It will be miserable or it will be destroyed. And my life's chaos, man. I have five kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11 different coaching groups. That doesn't even count my wife's. She's got another two. So that's 14 coaching groups that Whitney and I lead. And the couples one is gnarly.
Yeah.
Like there's just it's heavy. There's guys that are on a daily basis are threatening to kill themselves. There's guys
That.
there's couples that are on the edge of divorce. There's wives that are so resistant and they give no affection to their husband and they've been disconnected, but they want a reconnection and they're realizing that they're lost in marriages that are loveless and roommate style.
Oh.
And we've also realized like there's only so much you can do when you work with one. So if I work with
Mm.
a guy, he can totally lie to me, even though he doesn't know he's lying about
Mm.
what's going on with his wife.
Mm.
A lot of times I get their wife in here and I go, "You're full of shit." He's like, "What?" Like your whole perspective of everything is off, which is why your marriage is fucked. Like, are you listening to your wife right now? And
Mm.
on the other side, same thing. I get to actually talk to the wife and find out what's holding her back and learning how to love her husband. Sometimes there's just like so much trauma and so
Yeah.
much anxiety and so much built up resentment that like it takes time to start getting these layers stripped down. And my wife and I have found a home and a relationship where we've established peace,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a rare thing. It's a rare thing to have a bunch of kids and be a business owner and have peace in your home. It's a switch that you got to make, because
Mm-hmm.
that- I'm even seeing in business. I don't even have to be at war in business. Remember, we used to write war on our
Yeah.
hand,
Yeah.
right? Because we were like trying
Yeah.
to go upstream, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. Like I wake up at in peace. I still get up early, and it's not a fight.
Mm.
If I miss it, it doesn't matter. I'm not like beating myself up.
Mm.
I used to beat the fuck out of you guys
Yeah.
when you were undisciplined and I'd call you pussies and you know. Now it's just
Um,
like, well, how do you feel? And it's like, man, I'm bummed I missed it. Okay, cool. Let's do it
mm.
tomorrow. Like,
Mm.
how do you feel when you do it? I feel better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like this morning, I got this guy up. He didn't want to get up. He's not used to
Mm.
getting up early. Got him up. He's like, wow, you always get up this early? I go, yeah. Let me show you why. And then we run a Bible study at 5 a.m. Um, with a group of about 15 guys every single morning, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then we put on some music, did some writing, some meditation, some prayer. And he's going like, what is this, man, this feeling in your house? I was like, yeah, that's it.
No way.
We come in here to learn, man. Like
Mm.
this is the standard of the home. Like when your kids walk in the home, they should go, ah, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm safe. I
There
can
we go.
let go. Your wife too.
Yeah.
But it seems impossible for a lot of people because there's so much going on and there's so much sports and there's so
Mm.
many things that we create these stories that everything is important.
Yeah.
and
Like
everything
there's
is going on.
tension, there's like stress, there's hella shit
Yeah,
going on, you know.
every little thing just creates more anxiety and more tension when in reality none of it matters. What matters
Mm,
is the peace of the leader of the home so that he can bring that peace. I'll have my dog's barking, my my 11-year-old is like picking on my 5-year-old, and then my 14-year-old defends the 5-year-old, and so there's just chaos and just fighting
mm,
going on. And then my wife starts yelling at them, and then the house is dirty, so she's like, nobody does anything around here, and then it's just chaos going on, right? Well, the old me would get sucked into that, and I'm like
yeah.
yelling at the kids, and I'm like, then my wife turns on me, then we get in a fight, and I don't lead, and blah blah blah. It's just, it turns into this nightmare. But now I'm like stepping back, and since I've done my work in the morning, I mean,
Mm,
really, what am I doing? Like, I'm
yeah.
literally breaking every morning, kneeling at the cross,
Mm,
admitting my own faults and my own weakness and my own incapacity,
mm,
letting grace fill me and the Holy Spirit fill my heart so that I break into tears of gratitude. I go to my wife and I cry on her neck and
mm,
tell her how much I love her
mm.
every day. These are
Man,
not weak tears. These aren't tears like, poor me, my
yeah,
life's so hard. This is, oh my
yeah,
God, you give
yeah,
this grace to me.
yeah.
I
It's
don't need
gratitude.
anything.
Yeah, man, that's powerful because especially with men in business and family and kids and stuff that goes on in the world, it's very easy. I think a big thing there which we haven't mentioned is this idea of distraction, right? There's a lot of distraction. Um, for you recently with the routine and the habits and the shift of priorities, what would you recommend a guy like that who's dealing with all that crap? Like, what's the first step to move away from distractions towards this peace that you're now living into? What's maybe
What
that first step?
what matters, and only list the things that matter, nothing else, right? So when you, like, if, like, for me, it's my God, my wife. People are
Yeah.
like, what about your kids? Nope, fuck those kids. Wait, what did you say? I thought you were superhuman fathers. My kids will
Mm,
not get in the way of my peace or my relationship with God or my wife, period. You know what
mm,
happens when I do that? I become a better father.
mm. And that wasn't always the case, right? That wasn't so that's what you're saying is now there's this, what would you call that? There's this emphasis on protecting what? Protecting your values? Is that really what it comes down to? Is
Well,
find your values, protect them at all costs?
yeah, I kind of like, I don't want to like not give the right definitions to these things, but for me, the way I look at it is I have my priorities and I have my
Yeah.
values. Right? My
Oh, okay.
priorities are what's most important, and so then in the moment, I know, like, yeah, like, I got a lot of work to do, and I'm
Mm,
kind of do that work. But my wife's like, "Hey, can you come with me to pick up the kids?" In the past, I would be like, "I got so much work to do, I can't
I
do that."
see. I see.
Right? But I'm gonna go, sure, and then I'm gonna go with her, right? Because she asked me, and she's the most important thing on this earth to me.
Mm-hmm.
That relationship is everything. So, you know, will this make me less money in the long run? Probably.
Nice.
And I have surrendered to that because I've made it a priority. But you can't have um, everything as a priority. If everything is
Yeah.
a priority, you have no priorities, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, first of all, I would say let go of everything that doesn't matter. And you know what doesn't matter? Money.
Mm.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
people go, well, what do you mean? But you got to pay your bills and you got to. Let me put it this way.
Mm,
If you were, let's say you lost your house and were evicted, there's a version of you that packs your shit in your car. You and your wife and your kids get in the car. And instead of saying, what are we going to do? You laugh.
mm,
Okay. Now, people are afraid to go here internally because they think if they accept worst case scenario without fear, that it will happen. But the
mm.
internal and the external worlds are two very
Yeah.
different things. So I can actually let go of everything internally and find peace and actually get into a flow state where I'm actually more effective in my external world. But you have to let go. And letting go feels like death
Yeah.
because if I'm seeking power, validation, control,
Hmm.
which is known as masculine traits, which
Yeah.
are not. That's a deception, right?
Mm.
It when I let go of those things, I am non-triggerable. I am non-reactive. I'm slower. I'm clearer. I'm not getting in fights with people. I'm not motherfucking the world every time something doesn't go right.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the nature of what Jesus taught is upside down.
Yeah. It's yeah.
You descend, you lower yourself, you disappear. You're not trying, you all glory goes to God. When you try to pile glory on yourself, you will stress yourself out and get so heavy. If I am my own God, that is you will burn out.
Hmm.
You will burn out. And I used to hear people say that, like, "Oh, you're gonna burn out," and I'd be like, "I don't burn out. I'm a beast, man, and I am, but I'm human,
Yeah.
and I burnt out.
Mm.
I burnt out, dude.
Hmm.
My days are
Hmm.
very different now. Like
Yeah.
I would pack like a week of like to dos in one day. If I didn't get them done, I'd motherfuck myself. You know, and if we didn't hit our goals, it was just like I was just angry.
Yeah.
Who wants that as a husband and father? Some angry man because he didn't hit his goals? Like, fuck your goals.
Right.
Your goals are
Hmm.
more important than the peace in your home.
Yeah, see, that's interesting too, because like even I don't know if you saw the interview with Alex Ramosi and Tony Robbins, and so Alex is a big, or was, maybe she's changing things, but he was big on that idea of like hyper focus, fuck everything else, and just business, business, money, money. But through that conversation, it was revealed of this idea of like priorities, values, right? So let's talk about for the uninitiated, because a big part of that is some people don't know their uh God is money or God is work. So what needs to be present? What belief needs to be present for someone to start to like snap out of that?
Yeah, you got two ways to do it. I did it without. I tried to do it without Jesus, and you can get kind of close, but you kind of fall into like if you go to nothing matters
Yeah.
without Jesus, things get rough because the grace is the powerful piece. Like literally,
Mm, that's right.
like I'm telling you, and someone
Yes.
might be hearing this, like this guy's a Jesus freak. Listen, I am obsessed with transformation.
Yeah.
So I have a teacher, he said, your transformation is more important than my belief system. Okay.
Mm,
So I treat this like science. What are the fruits and what are the
right.
effects? I don't care what it is. If I inject what I'm resistant to how I do this, then I'm never going to find the most effective way to change people's lives.
Mm,
And so Jesus, I did not want anything to do with him.
yeah.
I was raised Mormon. I was disenfranchised.
Yeah.
I still am not a religious man. I don't go to church.
Hmm.
I have, on occasion we go to church, but it's not, I don't go to church to check the box,
Yeah.
being a good Christian,
Right.
right? Like there is no such thing as a good Christian. It doesn't exist. We all fall short.
Yeah.
We all need the grace to cross
Hmm.
the chasm. And so I'm not trying to check boxes. I'm trying to get my heart in alignment with God. And I'm trying to
Mm,
stay in a place of gratitude and a lack of entitlement so that I
mm,
can let go of things that don't matter, so that I can be at peace and be guided where I need to go.
that's it.
Right. Um, and I might have got a little off. Well, we were talking about the Alex Ramosi and
Yeah, but I
um,
think you hit the nail on the head. Is there's a lot of this letting go and surrendering that sometimes we miss. We think we need shit in our lives, and but maybe we do. But ultimately, before we acquire, there needs to be a release of ego, of stuff, of priorities. And then even one of the guys that we know and follow is Wes, and he talks about success is subtractive, right? So then the question was, yeah, like what do people need to believe or shift so that they can start to let go and surrender?
yeah, I mean, you start finding out who you are with nothing. You got to find
Mm-hmm.
out who you are with nothing. Who am I if I'm not a father? Who am I if I'm not a husband?
I see. I
Who
see.
am I if I don't get any validation? Who am I if I'm not seen? Who am I if I don't have a mission? Who am I
Mm-hmm.
if I have no purpose? Who am I if I don't know? Who am I if I don't know who God is or what God is? Who am I if I strip everything down to just breath, existence, and life? Who am I?
Yeah.
And if you go deep enough and you fully let go, you can fall into two places. You can
Mm-hmm.
fall into nothing matters, so who gives a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
which is a dangerous place to get stuck,
Yeah.
or you can even jump deeper. And my experience, I fall into the arms of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And that for others, it might be a peace, a freedom, a feeling of love.
Yeah.
At the bottom of that pit that we're so afraid to let go of, that our ego clings to because it wants to matter so bad, in your
Yeah.
meaninglessness, you find the center of the universe is love, and the most powerful force in the universe is love. And you strip down naked to nothing. You are so utterly loved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You find that things naturally stop mattering to you. So it's not that like I can't force this in my head. This is
Yeah.
the problem. Can't force it. I can't just think my way to it. I have to feel my way to it.
That's right. That's right. And it's difficult because of the distractions, because of our past, what's the word I'm looking for here? Because of our past, because of what we've lived through, right? Our belief system, identity, and all that. So how can how can people start to navigate that transition, right? Maybe, we can start talking about what is now Superhuman Fathers or the Power Couple Path or some of these other things that you've got, but what are some of those maybe pathways they can navigate through?
Yeah, like uh, you've got to study yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
got to you got to become a master of your own mind and heart. So you got to start asking yourself hard questions like, am I a good man? And what what in me is manipulative? What are my true intents? And you start studying yourself, and you study yourself in your reactions. In marriage, it's the best. You can study how you react when you're attacked or questioned by your wife. You can study your
Yeah.
reactions. Hmm, I say I'm a good man, but what am I actually doing in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I noticed that I'm pretty smart with my words. I was manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't just sit in vulnerability with my wife without getting the upper hand.
Yeah.
And it would appear as though I was being a good man, but in reality, I was manipulative. And so nobody knows that. I could hide that, or I
Mm.
can actually delve deeper into that and practice being more vulnerable and less controlling,
Yeah.
which started to bring us closer and closer together, which was chaotic at first. It was chaotic. It was
Yeah.
transformation's not easy. Like
No.
intimacy, real intimacy with God, with your wife is very chaotic when you start to strip down the layers because your ego freaks out.
Mm.
It will, you know, it, the ego's been an interesting study too, and I don't even know if that's the right word, as I'm studying deeper into the parts of
Mm.
us that are
Mm-hmm.
trapped in different places or have different belief systems. You'll have parts of you that disagree with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like for example, faith in God. There's a party that's like, I believe, I'm committed, and there's this other party like, this is all bullshit.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, I think this is fake. I like, you're making this up, right? So you have these two sides of you that are like looking at each other like,
Right, right,
what
right,
what are we doing? What are we doing? So you start to study those parts. And you start to embrace them, and then you get to this place like, when I talk, people are like, "Oh, you're so confident." I don't know shit. Nothing I tell you do I know is true or not.
yeah.
Nothing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, and in that nothingness, I hold on to nothing, not even my belief systems.
Mm.
But I'm testing scientifically the fruits of the way I have my
Yeah,
mind
that's
and my
true.
heart set up to see what those fruits are. And then I'm going to base my decisions and my beliefs and my values and my priorities based upon the fruits that I have in my life. And so people get so stuck in their own ways that they're
Mm-hmm.
not willing to let things go, try a different
Yeah.
route, take a different path, test it out, test it out. You know, it's like I'm not a golfer, and people are like, you should golf. And I haven't golfed, but I know there's something magic about golf because there's so
Mhm.
many people that are like, "Hey, golf is amazing. It's so fun." So I don't say like golf sucks. I don't like golf. It's boring. I'm like, there's something magic about golf that I haven't experienced yet. This is very
Mm.
much like for guys that haven't experienced this. incredible peace and grace that comes from Jesus. Like it would be worth your while to take some serious time and go delve in there and see what you find.
Yeah.
And go in with your doubt and bring your doubt to God. This is the problem with much of the organized religion that I was a part of.
Mm.
That when you doubt, there's something wrong with you. But everyone
Hmm.
doubts, but no one talks about it because everyone's trying to be all faithful
Yeah.
and a good Christian. And a good Christian doesn't doubt, right? Or there's something wrong with you,
Mm.
broken.
Yeah.
That is false. Like we ran this event with a bunch of door to door young guys,
Oh
and
yeah.
the guys would come out there and kind of break them off for a day. And you know, I I asked the guys like, who here believes in God? And everyone raised their hand except for one guy. And
Really?
he's like, I don't know. And I was like, watch this guy. That guy had the biggest breakthrough of the whole
Mm.
day because he was actually introspectively honest.
Mm, that's
I'm
right.
not saying the other guys were lying, but I guarantee not every single one of those guys actually believed in God. They just did because culturally that's what you say. Yeah, I was raised this way,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? That guy was honest enough to say, I don't know. I've never really experienced God.
Yeah. And there's a topic there which is very important. It's this idea of truth, of honesty, of self-reflection, of acceptance even too, right? Like sometimes we might know that there's stuff there, but we don't accept it. So tell us more about that. What was your transformation because it might resonate with others going from the lies we all tell ourselves to now this truth which has led to peace, it seems like.
So I have to go back to again these women I work with, okay,
Mm,
and these are wives of the men that I work with.
yeah.
They are so tense. They're so afraid of uh,
They're
leaving.
guarded.
They're guarded. They're tense. They can't feel.
No.
Won't feel because if they feel, then all that shit that they've been through, all the resentment that they hold, all the hatred they hold for their husband, it will all
Mm,
unleash, and then in their minds, everything will fall apart. But
mm,
that's the lie. It's the same thing as letting go of everything, thinking that you're going to die,
oh,
when in
yeah.
reality, you fall right into peace. But they are very resistant. This is very much, many of these wives also have massive problems with intimacy, and their husbands are suffering with this loneliness because their wives don't know how to feel or be intimate with their husbands. And I don't just mean sex, I mean
Yeah.
like having a woman that like rubs your back when she sits next to you, or like strokes your hair, or holds your hand, or looks at you with those eyes
Mm,
of desire. They
mm,
these relationships, they stop being in love. They stop
yeah.
choosing love. They start building resentment walls, and then they won't give each other that that heart, that feel. And that place is the most miserable place for a man. This is where a man has everything and he's made a ton of money, his business going well, and he's like, I have no purpose.
Mm,
Then we start going over his priorities. And he'll either say family. What's the most important thing to you? 99 out of 100 guys will say family. Okay, let's break that down. And there's a mix between my kids and my wife. Most
yeah.
men, a lot of times, will say my kids. And I'm like, okay. So we know that his kids are his priority over his wife. Well, his kids have become priority over his wife because kids are easy to deal with and they show him love. But his wife doesn't because she's so full of resentment of his
Mm,
working his ass off and not paying attention to her, not being present because of the stress that he's been in. So she pulls away and feels
mm,
unseen. And then she doesn't give him intimacy so that he gets pissed at her. So now his resentment and anger is increasing. He's getting furthermore irritated. So he's snappy. He's irritated. She's like, he's an asshole. And he's like, you don't love me. And then they just live this miserable life together. And the kids are just watching their parents just bicker and live in high anxiety and hatred towards each other. And then what do the kids do? They're going to do the exact same thing they watch their parents do.
man, that's a mic drop right there, and I'll raise my hand to that because I think it's almost like I'm watching a movie and a lot of the people that um again it's like when we don't do the work that sounds like, oh, but isn't that normal though, Kyle? Like isn't that like a part of life? Isn't that like everybody's dealing with that shit. But what what do we get to do, or what do we get to allow as a new reality for you? What is that like new truth, new reality that we don't have to accept that?
I don't have to defend myself to my wife.
Mm,
I'm the man. I lead. She can't take my crown. Unless I act like her, then she takes the crown. Right? So if I fall into her frame, then I become
mm,
her. Then I talk shit about my wife and say, "Oh, she's a bitch. She's mean. She doesn't appreciate me." Well, what are you doing? You do the same thing back to her. Just because it's a reaction doesn't mean you're not the same. You're the same.
mm, mm,
Most of these guys that fight and bicker with their wives are just as bad as their wives. They're the same, but they want to put the blame on their wife when in reality they're not leading. If they were
mm,
leading from peace, they'd give their wife over time an opening to see what it's supposed to look like. If I'm non-reactive to my wife when she elevates, and all of your wives are going to elevate, wait till they get their luteal cycle, man. They're all insane. They lose their minds. They say a bunch of shit that's all emotional, and then we try to like go in with logic
yes.
and and then we back away and then we try to logic them out of their problems, and
Mm,
all that does is make them feel more disconnected, so they basically push you away, or it seems as though they are, but in actuality they're saying help me, hold,
mm,
love me. So if you can ignore the words that are coming out of their mouth and just put your hands on her, not in the way you want to, but in the way that you love her,
right.
be there with her. I will be with my wife for 2 hours sometimes with her motherfucking me, and I'm just there. And
Mm,
when she gets irritated or angry, she's like cleaning the house, sometimes like 9:30 at night. I'm like, okay, fuck it, we're cleaning the house. And I'm
mm,
just there. And I'm like, I love you. I know. I know it's hard.
mm,
Yeah, what
yeah.
else? What do we need to do? Let me get that for you. I don't need your help. I know you don't need my help, but I'm always here. I'm right here. I'll never leave you. I love you. You're the best thing that
Mm-hmm.
and
And
he's,
and and
you know,
yeah, a big part of that, I think, as we start to wrap up there is I'll be honest, it sounds good, right? It sounds like, okay, that's good, that's easy. Like, okay, when she says something, I'll just not react, I'll just stay quiet and or whatever, I'll just be present. But what do guys, let's talk about us, like what do we miss though? Like we get it intellectually, but then we don't do it because then what, we react, or what's the thing that's a missing link?
Jesus.
There we go.
So Jesus is the creator of the universe, is he not? Is he not the one that gives you breath?
Mm-hmm.
The one that makes you see, the one that makes your hands move so that you can do and be and live. And yet he showed you. So he said, I'm going to come into human form and splat in the mud next to you and suffer for and with you. And I'm going to show you that the most powerful being in the universe descends below all things, because the nature of Jesus's teachings are upside down. I will wash my disciples' feet and do the thing that was the most disturbing, grossest thing that even the lowliest servants wouldn't do, and wash feet. Why did he do that? He was trying to show them what leadership looks like and what real love looks like and the nature of God. Okay. So if I'm leading my family from a standpoint of the way Jesus teaches, then I will allow them to crucify me. And in doing so, what will happen? A resurrection of a marriage. I have seen this over and over and over again. And these principles, without identity change, without letting go, without prioritization, without simplification, and without Jesus at the top, it doesn't long term work. You can put some patches in it, but you can only get so far with philosophy and with tactics. There has to
Yeah.
be a change of heart on
Mm-hmm.
both sides.
Yes, I 100% agree. And I think a piece of that is accountability, or community guidance. So how can people get that? Maybe from you and your wife. What are some ways they can connect with you guys so that way they can start to lean in?
Yeah, we have a 15-month program. The first 3 months is all couple stuff, and we do talk about ideas, concepts, techniques, because we do have to get that, because we're not always going to be like floating in the spirit with this beautiful soft heart. We're human, so we have to be able to grit our teeth through stuff and get really good at acting how we don't feel. Right? That's what we were talking about, values, right? A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
say, "Well, I'm not going to be fake." And it's like, good luck. So you're saying you're going to go with your feelings, the way you feel all the time. That's not being fake. I would say being fake is not holding to your values. That's being fake, right? So if I feel hatred, but I act in love, although
Mm,
that's not my best case scenario. I would love to feel love and act in love, but we're
yeah.
human. So I choose to act with my values rather than my feelings. That has been extremely significant in a change in my home and in my marriage because I too am a recovering asshole. So that's number one. Um, Number two is uh, personal development is more powerful than even the couples development. And so the first 3 months is all couples, and then we do a year with a small group where we're studying ourselves and we're studying God and wife. And we're doing that by like getting to know our minds and our hearts, learning how to really get through hard moments. For example, I mean, if you get in a if you have resentment towards your wife and you sit down and you write and you break down what you're feeling without holding back all the anger and you write it
Mm,
out. And then you write from her perspective what you can see, how she might feel and think. And then you write what you want it to look like. Then you open
nice.
it up literally with a conversation with God. You type questions and back and forth with God. You let Him teach you. You will find the answer and the perspective to now return to her and
Mm,
actually have a discussion where you guys see each other's viewpoints and the
yeah.
spirit and the heart changes involved as well. So this is anytime we get in a fight, which is often,
Yeah.
we do this and then we come and exchange what we learned. And so we're learning through real life. And these are the skills you need to learn. And then also being held accountable to just taking care of yourself, getting up at this time, getting your workout in, losing the fat, having your time with God, making sure you're doing your writing. If it's just things that are very simple that we won't
Mm,
do unless we're
yeah.
containering around people that do it and talk this way and look at life this way. Otherwise, we get lost in our own heads. We fall back asleep. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to keep each other awake so that we
Mm-hmm.
sit in that like warm water of the spirit so we can see the past, present, and future, and everything's clear and we're calm. We've let go. We're not afraid of the future. And we might find them today, and then tomorrow we're drowning in the jacuzzi again, and then you got to have brothers or in the women's side, sisters, where
Yeah.
they're just like, hey, let's break this down, let's figure this out, and let's bring you back to center and be awake. And when people learn
Mm,
to do that for themselves quickly, the fights don't last. The things that created fights turn into really cool philosophical discussions about right and wrong and what you want and
mm,
what you don't. And the peace in the relationship just starts to become a norm.
yeah. Yeah. And what I'm getting from that is there's common ground now, right? It's like we're not enemies, we're on the same mission, and it's almost like a reminder. So how can people find that? Is it through a website? Is it through your Instagram or?
Yeah, you can follow me at Superhuman Fathers on Instagram, or we have the Power Couple Playbook is what the Instagram is called for our couple stuff. Um, but there's a couple links there. You can DM me too. Like we uh we have decided that if we could do anything, my wife and I, with all of our coaching experience, we could do anything, we would just coach couples all day.
Mm,
So we've made a massive shift, and that's other than the ministry of Superhuman Fathers, which anyone can join. Um, but our business is helping couples get through uh, the hardest times in their marriages and finding this peace.
I love it, brother. Well, thanks so much, Kyle, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Till next time.